Hello, good evening. We are inviting Victoria Benatar. She's one of the leaders of Parsons School of Design, the new school of Parsons. And we are going to talk about this evening lots of things. First of all, how is design responding to some solutions around the world in this moment? We are connecting with her right now. We have to wait a little bit, but I'm sure we are going to have a very interesting conversation because Victoria Benatar is also a very known architect and interiorist with one specific expertise. Sorry, there's some here. We are going to try again. Sometimes these first moments of the connection are not easy, but hi, Victoria.
Hi, Marisa, how are you?
Fine, really fine. Welcome to Red AEDE. As you know, is the Spanish Association of Design Industries, and we are so glad to receive you here to talk about, as you know, to talk about design, to talk about the evolution of society, culture, and how's the world facing all this pandemic moment, but with a special key related with design and the vision of the in your case the vision of architects and designers to face and to give some solutions to all the problems we are dealing with it. First of all, you are one of the leaders of Parsons since several years ago. You are one of the teachers, the professors. You are, of course, contributing with very interesting projects. We would like to know, first of all, which are the main projects you are developing with the students in this year, this very difficult year.
Where basically this past year we have been focusing in doing projects with healthy materials. Mm-hmm. That has been the main focus. Last semester I actually did the training myself at Parsons in the Healthy Materials Lab, which is a fantastic source, and it's very innovative, and you can learn about all the materials and all the elements that have been toxic mm-hmm. in our built environment, and that is contributing to make people sick, to make a woman not able to have babies so easy. I mean, it's a whole, like, you know,
absolutely.
I really discovered. I thought I knew, but when you start getting more deep into it, you realize that you don't know anything. So basically, this is what I'm working on, how to utilize healthy materials in the built environment. So I'm putting a lot of pressure in my students because mm-hmm. I feel they are the ones who have the responsibility mm-hmm. to be trained with that, because we were not trained like that. So, you know, it's a little bit harder for us to embrace this culture, but for them it's not. So this is the main focus that I'm personally doing at Parsons at the moment with the students of architecture and the students of interior design. Yeah. We also apply this to our practice. We are getting certified at EXD Architecture. We're getting certified as well. Mm-hmm. So, you know, this is part of the holistic design culture of our company as well. Mm-hmm. It's focusing on the well-being of the people in their spaces and as well in the materials that we use for design. So,
absolutely, you have the whole picture. You have from architecture to interiorism, product, and of course the surfaces around which is directly connected with materials. Materials, well, are one of the key of change of not only the interiors, also the architecture. No? And you are developing this teaching program in one of the most interesting and one of the most important cities in the world. We are all seeing the changes of the big city, the big Apple. What's happening there? How are you living all these changes from, as you know, the interior changes from the home, no, the domestic spaces to the offices. We are dealing with a lot of empty buildings around the world, but especially I've read it. New York is there's a huge amount of buildings completely empty, no, dedicated to offices or retail. We are in the middle of a very important revolution. How are you living this special moment as a professional?
Well, you know what? This was a situation waiting to happen. I mean, the pandemic just accelerated something that was going to happen perhaps in 5-10 years. Mm-hmm. So the pandemic just accelerated because the whole culture of retail, the whole cultures of office space is changing. Mm-hmm. We are designing at the EXD Lab, we are designing a flexible office space mm-hmm. that very easily can be turned. We are working for a building owner, creating a prototype of an office space that can easily be changed from office for individual cubicles with social distancing mm-hmm. to a conference room, to a projection room, to a classroom in a very easy way. So this is one thing that we are particularly working on now. Regarding the city, the way we envision, and I personally envision, is creating mixed-use buildings mm-hmm. and creating micro communities, because there is a shortage in residential in New York specifically. There is a big shortage of residential. So, you know, the way they did it in the financial district, it was done before. The mm-hmm. financial district were all abandoned office space that would turn into residential. So this is going to happen. And this is the natural evolution of cities. Cities are living organisms, and they change the way we change. So this is about the office space. Retail is another
dimension, no? It's
animal, let's call it. Yeah, but we are working, my partner Michelle Champayón and I, we are working on different ways of handling retail mm-hmm. that is in combination with the boom of all the Amazons mm-hmm. and all the internet shopping. So there is room for new approaches to retail.
New approaches, exactly.
Yeah, and regarding residential, well, as you know,
you are a complete pioneer, really, because there's a global trend called micro houses. I've been in contact with Kent Larson of MIT, and it's one of the main researchers they developed there, no? And you've been developing it since, I don't know, 10 years ago. It's your expertise, really, no? The flexible houses, how to be, you can have I don't know, a small house, but you can complement it with another spaces. Tell us a little bit about this evolution.
Right. Well, my partner and I, we became partners 5 years ago in this company, EXD Architecture, and we've been focusing on a small living. But as you say, it's a small space, but living at large. Because the fact that the space is small doesn't mean that you have to miss anything. We also take the city of New York as our inspiration, because the city of New York works for 24 hours. It's always active. Absolutely. The same way your house has to be, your house has to perform for you. for 24 hours. So as you say, we've been working with this 5 years ago. And now with the pandemic, it proves that we were on the right track, because the house now got a new dimension in cities. Formerly, the house was like a place to sleep. You really came to your home to sleep because you were using the amenities of the city.
Exactly.
But now your house needs to perform for you and your family members, and you need a space for everything, and everything needs to have a space. So we have been developing systems for that purpose. And we have different prototypes that we have done and that we are doing to, to test concept. And hopefully, hopefully we will develop a system to fabricate. Hopefully. This is our goal. Regarding the city, there is something very interesting that's happening in New York. New York is getting Europeized. All the restaurants now have like permits to have outdoor space.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's becoming like Madrid, Paris, with and Italy, with all this outdoor space, which is very nice. So we are working now with the city of New York also to produce these kinds of structures to help restaurants to get back to business. So in a sense, New York is a very resilient city because we try to work as a community. We listen to the needs, especially me and my partner. We listen to the needs and we try to address the problems with the logic with the vision of the future. So this is a little bit what we are doing now, all in the umbrella of healthy materials and sustainability.
Exactly. Another very interesting phenomena in New York is related with the new parks, with the renaturalization of the city. I've seen a lot of projects around the coast of the river, of the Hudson River, and a fantastic example and another level with the High Line that is replicated in a lot of cities around the world. And
now
new green spaces.
Well, now that you mentioned, yes, there are many projects and proposals to create more open space for people to gather, because it has been recognized the importance of exterior outdoor space.
Exactly.
So it's beautiful because, I envision every rooftop with an urban garden. This is how I envision. Because there's no need, rooftops are open surfaces.
Yeah.
The park can be here, or the park can be here, or the park can be here. So, as I tell you, I see, like a lot of people is escaping New York, but you know what? We stay in New York because we see there's a great opportunity to make this city a great place to live, where you can gather.
Absolutely,
where you can exchange ideas, when you can come and develop new things. Something that I want to mention, we are certified as a minority business in New York City. And the city is obligated to hire a percentage of minority business to develop capital projects. So we have the opportunity to access these projects that the city is fomenting to improve the quality of life here. Because tell you the truth, we were living in a rush, kind of a rush life, a little nonsense, like with this stay home obligated, stop.
Exactly. Yeah.
It gave us all opportunity to think what's important really,
Absolutely.
how I want to use my time.
We are prioritizing a priority values now, no?
Correct. And the reason I became an architect, it was to help people to have a better quality of life. So this is what I want to dedicate my life to. That's what we are focusing on. Me and my partner, Michelle, that I have to mention because we work together very hard and very well.
I love it because it's your daughter. I love it because in Spain, Teresa Sapey is working, well, a very known architect and interiorist is working right now with her daughter, developing a very, very good work. And she, Teresa Sapei, studied in Parsons. She said it to me today. And it's a fine school, to open-minded, to have a new vision about design, deconstructing conventionalism and creating another way to perceive reality.
Well, the good thing about Parsons, I mean, the amazing thing is when you have several things. Number one, that it's located in New York.
Yeah.
So this is
the campus is the city, no?
Yeah, it's a fertile land for creativity and for connections. You know, there's people from all over the world that get together with the common goal of design, to make design better. Number two, as I say, Parsons has implemented the Healthy Material Lab, which is a state-of-the-art lab.
Exactly.
And the students are starting to becoming familiar with this culture of health. Number three, there is a cross-fertilization between all the areas of design. So students from architecture are in contact with students of interior, with the students of lighting, with the students of fashion. So it's cross-pollinized, which is really a great opportunity.
Absolutely.
Sometimes architecture schools or design schools are really like, it's so much work that you don't have opportunity to look out. So basically here you have the museums, you have, I mean, I just went this weekend to the Japanese Society, Japan Society, have a whole show about how to build in wood without nails, only using joints. I mean, this is an amazing opportunity. I'm sending the students that are here in New York, I'm sending there. Then another amazing thing that Parsons have is the implementation of the labs, of the fabrication labs. So for example, I have a class now that it's finishing at the end of the semester, that is a material and fabrication. So they have to analyze the material. Each student analyze a material in depth. They become an expert in the material. They share the knowledge, each one with each other for all the materials. And then they have to fabricate an assemblage for the end of the semester using the learning of the material. So maybe they're not using the material itself, but they're using the concept of how this material is in use. So, you know, it's, I mean, also the faculty at Parsons is incredible, talented.
Absolutely. It's a very important perspective, crossing lines, mixing all kind of expertise and all kind of laboratories to achieve a new creativity. You have a very, Victoria, you have a very a powerful energy as a professional.
Thanks.
I would like that you tell us a little bit your story. How do you arrive at New York from your country? A little bit crossing this line, this biography. Yeah,
I'm gonna make a little capsule. I came to New York to do a master in urban design, and I wanted to learn more about computers. I came here in the year 93, 94. And by that time, I was already working with software for representation of architecture. So I figured, you know, I have worked in the interior design. I'm an architect, registered architect. So I would like to learn a little bit about urban design. I came to New York, to Columbia University, to start my master in urban design, which was really fascinating. Studying was to go out and take the camera and take your tape and, you know, survey the city, which it's something that fascinates me for a long time, cities. So after I graduate, Bernard Schumi, that was the dean at the time, decided to create the paperless studios. And in urban design, there was only my teacher, Brian McGrath, who knew some computer, and me as a student. So I innocently offered, you know, because I didn't know you could stay for a 1 year of practical training. So I offered, oh, you need me for next semester, you know, I can stay. Venezuela was going through a lot of economic situation.
Yeah.
So I went to speak to Bernard. They offered me the job. I was the digital assistant. Imagine, this was 25, 26 years ago. I was the digital assistant. So I start archiving all the work. I created the first web page for the Department of Urban Science. Actually, I think it was the first web page for Columbia University.
Yeah.
You know, I did it on my own. Like, oh, let me take, I was programming myself. Oh, let me see how this goes.
Yeah. You are always a pioneer, no? You are
Well, it looks like,
ahead.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to say, but it looks like. So then, you know, then they offered me the job, thanks to Brian, who's really my mentor, Brian McGrath, who I always mention as my mentor. He recommended me to Parsons. And at that time, Parsons was creating the transition between analog and digital representation. So I started working with a colleague, Madeleine Schwartzman. She was doing the analog part and I was doing the digital. And the beautiful thing was that she welcomed me with open arms. You know, I kind of invaded her class and she was very happy to share with me. So, you know, I have been 26 years in Parsons exploring all digital representation for architecture and interior. Now, of course, I moved to another territories because, you know, the young students, they already come with a chip. You know, when I started, there was no chip. I had students that never turned on a computer.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have to teach them on how to turn on a computer. Now it's not the case. So the students are very digitally savvy. So I'm taking care of other aspects of the career. I have taught them portfolio making. And the way I approach the portfolio class is I try to have each student think of themselves as a brand. So they have to brand their content to get the jobs they want, you know?
Exactly.
So I teach them this material class. I still teach representation for architecture. And we take some landmark architects like Adolf Loos and draw their projects and try to get into their brain. And at the beginning, the students find that this is so boring, these houses. But then they start to understand the magic of Adolf Loos and design and drafting and using your tools to take out of what you have in your brain.
Exactly.
And represent your ideas, because you can be a genius, and if you don't know how to represent.
Well, it's amazing, Victoria. How are the students are dealing with this mix of one-to-one and digital education? And you, how are you organizing all this hybrid way to teach?
Teaching. Well, the school has been very helpful since last year. The school have implemented some asynchronous and synchronous agenda. So you can organize your class in a sense that you don't have to be necessarily 3 hours with the students in Zoom, which is very exhausting. So the way I organize it, I gather the students in Zoom together as a group. We spend the beginning of the class talking about how you're doing, find out if you are well, if you're healthy, if you have some concerns, you know, because now we have to really go into the personal.
Yeah, emotions also.
Yeah. So, you know, I feel a little bit that my role as a teacher, as a professor, part of it is to make sure that they are well. And, you know, if I can help them beyond my responsibility, I do. For example, some students ask me for extra time after class.
As a mentor, I can imagine it.
Yeah, as a mentor. Fact, yes. And then I send them to I discovered the breakout rooms not so long ago. So I send them to breakout rooms so they can discuss without me, as if they were in the classroom. And I see each student one-on-one. I dedicate some time to each one. And, you know, I have bought the iPad with the pen that I can use to draw, or the annotating tool, or the whiteboard. There is a lot of technology. Thanks God that I'm technology savvy. So this has not been difficult for me.
for and they are kind of motivated or not or something.
Well, I am a good motivator, so
I'm sure. I'm sure of it.
I try. Yeah, because I have it for my own self. You wake up in the morning, it's like, okay, there's two options: be happy or be sad, or whatever in between, right? But to me, I'm like, on the extreme. So I say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna wake up, I meditate, I do a little bit of exercise, I energize myself so I can transmit this energy to clients, to projects, to our, we are developing now our PR, our Instagram page. So I try to, me and my partner both, like, we try to keep optimistic. I mean, we both have been sick with COVID, so this was challenging and scary. So, life put you in this situation so you understand weakness.
Absolutely.
And, I have become a little more flexible.
Absolutely. You say more flexible, and that is the attitude for design and in general in life. We can, to end this conversation, I would like that we can establish together perhaps 3 lines of future. You are for sure a forecaster, first a pioneer and then a forecaster, I'm sure of it. Then perhaps you've talked about, of course, micro houses, flexibility related with architecture, with services. Tell me a little bit a conclusion.
Well, the conclusion is that we need to be, in general, all more flexible. And we need to be, in general, all open-minded and try to work together to make out of this world a better place. This is, I can do what I can do on my own. And it's like what you're doing. And I have to also, like, you say so beautiful things about me. I want to say some words about you. You are taking charge of this innovation worldwide, and you are promoting the work of very interesting people. And this is what we have to do. You do it in the level that you are capable, and I do in my level that I'm capable. And if everybody does a little bit, we can make this world a much better place in which we need kindness, we need less stress, we need, again, more open space, we need to collaborate. This is something I wanted to add. For example, in our company, we have this culture of team leaders. So my partner and I, she and I, but we have a big team around us in which we can undertake different kinds of jobs. And so we are building something bigger than ourselves. We have other people collaborating with us, and we collaborate with other people. And, this is, I see this as an opportunity to grow, to make something better. I don't see it as dark as it was. It was very dark last year. Now it's with the vaccination. Hopefully, in New York, they are speed vaccines, not as in Spain, I heard. But I think that's going to open a lot of doors, and we're going to be more conscious about our environment. We're going to be taking care of our environments and of ourselves.
Exactly.
The environment doesn't need to be sick. We don't need to be sick. And, and spaces can be beautiful and magnificent beyond the beauty. It can be, welcoming, nurturing, fulfilling, fantastic, healthy, and amazing. I foresee a great future.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Victoria. You are always an inspiration. We can feel your strength, your positive energy. Absolutely. And well, of course, we would like to invite you to another conversation, perhaps some month, the next month, to go deeper, no? To go deeper to all these questions that are really important. I take one word of your work and of your design thinking, which is flexibility and aptitude. There are two very important keys we have to keep in mind. Thank you very much.
I think so. Thank you, Marisa, and good luck. You know, you count on me anytime you want. We
the same.
are going to do things together, beautiful things together, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all. The people is listening to us, and we will connect with another schools and with another projects and with another leaders and professors all around the world. Thank you very much.
You are a motivator the way I am too, and a mentor as well. So on that, we are on the same track.
Thank you very much. Come to Madrid. Come to Madrid soon.
I am. I'm going.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Take care.